And Andrew, you're joining us this morning. You've been following a number of races throughout the night and into this morning. One of them is a big race, but first of all, just thank you for being here.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a wild night. It's been, we have a great digital team that has been updating web results at myupnow.com, and we're following over 150 races right now.
Wow. So. And so one of them, it was a historic night for the 109th House District seat.
Yes, again, a wild night in Michigan's 109th State House District, where Republican Carl Bonak upset incumbent Representative Jen Hill. This victory is significant for control of the state legislature, as Bonak won by a narrow margin of 51.3% to Hill's 48.7%. This district hasn't been represented by Republicans since the 1980s. The race saw intense back and forth competition throughout the night, with Bonak performing well in rural communities while Hill held on to Marquette County. And we have a statement this morning from State Rep-elect Carl Bonak.
That you fully supported me, and I am going to, and I pledge to you that I will not change, that I will keep the Peninsula in mind always with my vote. And you know what, I'll serve. Thank you so much.
My campaign has been all about Peninsula over politics, and I'm running to serve the Upper Peninsula. It's not about the party, it's about the people of the UP, and I almost feel like it's not my election, it's our election.
A big race at the state level was the Senate race between Elissa Slotkin and former Representative Mike Rogers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the AP was a little slow calling this race, and for good reason. It keeps changing with it's getting tighter. With 92% of the vote in, Rogers is slightly leading Slotkin by 48.6% to 48.3%.
And one that's impacting Upers all across is the race for Congress for the 1st District. What do you have about that?
Michigan's 1st District for U.S. Congress, the outcome was a little bit more predictable, with longtime incumbent Jack Bergman decisively defeating Democrat Callie Barr. Bergman received 59% of the vote compared to Barr's 38%. The result reflects a historically consistent pattern for Northern Michigan and the Upper Peninsula, allowing Jack Bergman to maintain his incumbency at least for the next 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's something that, you know, impacts the communities, the small communities across the entire UP, is millages for schools. And one of them that asked the voters to decide on that on the ballot is Gwinn area community schools.
Very interesting millage from Gwinn schools. This is their second time passing a similar millage. Proposals for upgrades to the Gwinn Middle and High School, which included an auxiliary gym, electrical improvements, and enhancements to the science wing and security measures. That proposal did not pass. It fell short by 400 votes. And in the Keweenaw, we'll talk with Thomas Fournier live later in the broadcast about another school millage in Houghton County.
Yes, and so another interesting race is in Elder County with their township clerk in Rock River Township. I know we've been covering it earlier this week. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that's turning out?
A very interesting race in Rock River Township, Elder County. Embattled pastor Tom Shearcloak has been serving as clerk since May, and he was barred from working on the election by the state last week for his plans to deviate from the Secretary of State's ballot county procedures. The township voters were decisive in selecting Heather Marsh over Shearcloak, who made national headlines last week for his defiance of state election law.
In Marquette, voters in the Marquette area had 7 people to choose from for the Marquette Area Public Schools Board of Education. Only 3 could win, and those were decided last night.
Yes, the Marquette Area Public Schools' Kristen Kabenzi, Cassidy Thomas, and Glenn Sarka have emerged victorious last night. Thomas joining incumbents Kabenzi and Sarka on the school board for a 6-year term.
And those are just a few of the many things on the ballot for Upers last night. So there's ways you could find them out. myupnow.com is one of them. You and our very own Skylar Perkins have been working very hard last night and into this morning on that.
It's been fun, and I think it's important to know that these are unofficial results, that the Board of Canvassers has to verify the results. But overall, a tough night for Democrats, a real great historic night for Republicans, and we're following, again, over 150 races. Results are being consistently updated at myupnow.com.
So what's on the agenda for you today, a nap?
A nap, absolutely. I'm ready to call it a wrap. So.
Thank you so much for sticking around with us this morning, Andrew, and letting us all know about these results that are huge and, like you said earlier, historic races up here in Michigan and the Upper Peninsula.
It's been fun.
Thank you, and we will be right back with more My UP Mornings after the break.